most of us. Naming my mouth cuts too much. Half a thought and it folds in two, like a bruise leaves a mark on me. You don't hurt in my shaking hand. Know something I don't understand. Like ghosting at the edge of me. Something there that I just can't see. You hear that too? Or is it just me? Downside out, downside out. I need to go where I don't belong. Downside out, downside out. I need to go where it feels so It's the same sad song, empty space that was here all along. Every step is a borrowed shape.
Check.
Every second a vain escape.
Escape.
After crying out for sin, summer stealing the autumn wind. There's a face that I almost know through a window where I won't go. If you're there, don't let me see. Downside out, downside out. I need to go where I don't belong. Downside out, downside out. I need to go where it feels so
All right, we're about to get started. Ooh, I'm hot. My mic is hot. Hit that like, share the show. Up in just a minute.
held it still so it wouldn't room. Now it moves in the things I do, in my hands, in the way I speak, in the cracks when I try to sleep. And you sit like you always did, never answer, just nod your head. If I reach, do you disappear? Can't find you are never here. Don't touch the door.
Here we go. Here we go.
If it opens, there's so much growth.
All right, let's get started on the show. Hi, how you doing? Welcome to the show. It's Hal Sparks Mega Worldwide. Happy Tuesday. It's I almost feel like it should be a 2 for Tuesday, except I wouldn't repeat any of the stuff that I have to show you at any given time. It would be just a complete dick move. So, hello, hit the like, share the show. There is no question that because of my big boy words, I get suppressed by the algorithm. And I have two choices. One, I could start to talk like an inebriated choir boy and slip past the censors. Or you guys could subscribe and then hit the notification bell. And then at a certain point, my subscriptions would high enough where that wouldn't knock it down. So, yeah. By the way, that song's going to be on the June 01 record that's coming out. Very excited. Still working on stuff. It's a good time. That said, yes, Big Brother is watching and he's going to tell mom. That's where I am right now. Now, there's a lot to cover, not the least of which is the King of England spoke today. And I think some of you may have seen parts of it. Chat room, let me know. And this is not me comment farming. I'm genuinely curious. How many of you saw some or all of the King speaking to the joint session of Congress today? I want to know. Let me know if you saw it. And if you didn't, I'll give a quick explanation of what happened. A grown man spoke to Congress from the center mic in front of the place where the VP and other people sit, and spoke in complete sentences and was capable of a wry, rather dry sense of humor. It was kind of shocking if you're, you know, our experience with Trump over the last little bit is, I mean, it's painful. Well, and in contrast, yeah, if you saw 3 minutes of it, here I'll show you real quick. I'll just give you an example because he got several rounds of applause from both sides of the aisle when he directly made fun of Trump. He dunked on Trump, but in a very dry way. So unless somebody tattles, Trump will never know. But this is, let's see, King Charles Congress. I'll bring this up. Here we go. Yeah, King.
So
Shut up, you moron. Get back. I don't want you yet. Okay. King Charles Congress. I'll find it. Okay, there it is. So, there's the full speech.
Mr. Speaker.
Okay, that is rather loud. I'll show you a little snippet of it. Doesn't quite matter. I'll just needle drop it for you. But here you go. This is a general idea.
Debate and deliberation, I cannot help but think of my late mother, Queen Elizabeth, who in 1991 was also afforded this signal honor and similarly spoke under the watchful eye of the Statue of Freedom above us. Today, I am here on this great occasion in the life of our nations to express the highest regard and friendship of the British people to the people of the United States. Now, as you may know, when I address my own Parliament at Westminster, we still follow an age-old tradition and take a member of Parliament hostage, holding him or her at Buckingham Palace until I am safely returned. These days, we look after our guests rather well, to the point that they often do not want to leave.
Okay, simple wry jokes, British humor, not quite Monty Python level silliness, but well crafted, well prepared. Yeah, okay, now let me show you our guy. You know how this is gonna go. You just know it. You really know it. Okay, so here you go. This is so Trump stands up. Stands up and just kind of dangles while the British troops and I'm sad that they don't actually recreate the Battle of Richmond. For those of you that don't know, I reenacted the Battle of Richmond as an 8-year-old, 7-year-old. I was 7 because it was 1977. As the water boy who saved the flag. You're welcome. And there were a bunch of guys dressed like this, and we killed them all, figuratively. So, okay. So, anyways, you get the point. Here he is. They would do this thing, and then this thing, and then Trump, I guess, didn't get his cue, and they march up the thing, and he's still standing the whole time, standing for the shooting. Totally misread the schedule. Just dangling around like an idiot. And then they finally just go, Mr. President, here you are.
President of the United States, Donald J. Trump.
He didn't want to have to get a running start from the chair. And all of them literally were looking at him like, what are you doing, you maniac? Sit down. They're not going to play Lee Greenwood. Okay. Now, I want you to remember what you saw when the King of England spoke using proper English and reading from remarks like his speech was on the podium. So rehearsed slightly, had at least read through it a couple of times, was aware of the points in it. And Trump opens with a joke somebody else put in there for him. Clearly, it's very clear immediately that he doesn't get the joke that he just said until later. It's a joke about the rain. It's misting. It's overcast and misting. That's what the line means. He doesn't know that. He thinks it's about the guys in the red coats and the king being there walking around.
Thank you very much, everybody. What a beautiful British day this is. And it really is. Your Majesty's member.
He doesn't know. He doesn't get it. He doesn't get that they're making a weather joke. He's making a joke about the weather. It's in the fucking thing as a joke. Like, they put it in. He doesn't understand. He thinks the joke is just, hey, the king's right there and his wife's over there and they have got guys in red coats walking around and playing the flute. It's very British, the whole thing. It's very British. We have to act nicely.
Members of the British delegation, friends, service members, and distinguished guests, welcome to the beautiful White House. Great honor to have you. Melania and I will never forget the spectacular honor Your Majesties showed us during our extraordinary visit to.
Goddamn, it's like listening to an 8th grader give a book report after they sustained a head injury in a car accident. It's so fucking labored.
Windsor Castle last September. Now it is our tremendous privilege to host you.
Oh, by the way, they cut to this side angle. This is the White House doing this. Excuse me 1 second. I wanted to show you the shit that happened before. I'm going to find another angle of this. Okay. Trump remarks, White House, King Charles, whatever. Okay. They, is this one? Yeah, here's USA Today's version of it. So, this whole thing.
Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States.
Yeah, we got that.
Beautiful.
What? Okay. What I want you to watch is the White House specifically chose a side angle from far away for most of this speech. Now, it's weird because it shows the empty grass in front of them and all the people are over on the right side. So maybe it's that they're thinking there's the other angle, it looked like there's no crowd or some shit. So they want to show that people showed up for ego reasons or whatever. But watch how fidgety he is with every fucking word. I shit you not. It's weirder than normal.
Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States, Donald J. Trump.
Thank you very much.
He got a little golf clap out of the king.
Everybody, what a beautiful British day this is. And it really is. Your Majesty's members of the British delegation, friends, service.
I think he thinks the entire crowd of Americans that are on that side that are present all came from England. Maybe because everybody's white. Maybe that's why.
Members and distinguished guests, welcome to the beautiful White House. Great honor to have you. Melania and I will never forget the spectacular honor Your Majesties showed us during our extraordinary visit to Windsor Castle last September. Now it is our tremendous privilege to host you, and you're going to have a wonderful short stay, but stay nevertheless. Then you're
He tries to go off book a couple of times. It's not good.
going over to Congress, and you're going to make a speech that's going to make everybody very envious of that beautiful accent of yours. Very elegant. He's a very elegant man. Here in the shadows of monuments to George Washington.
Is someone shoving a monument up your ass right now?
Thomas Jefferson, honoring the British King.
British King. Why is British so hard to read?
Might seem an ironic beginning to our celebration of
It might.
250 years of American independence, but in fact, no tribute could be more appropriate. Long before America.
Yeah, there probably could be. I mean, a big tribute, say, to, I don't know, all the soldiers that died during the Revolutionary War or our partners in it, including the French who helped us fight off the British, which is why there's a Fayette County in almost every fucking state.
Americans had a nation or a constitution. We first had a culture, a character, and a creed.
Yeah, but we got rid of that in a big fucking hurry.
Before we ever proclaimed our independence, Americans carried within us the rarest of gifts, moral courage, and it came from a small but mighty kingdom from across the sea.
Oh, yeah, sorry, no. That would be British colonists, not Americans. Because, I don't want to get into the whole debate, was, Jesus the last Jew or the first Christian or any of that kind of shit. But once you decided to become an American at that point, you were kind of, no offense, guy with magic hat. But
For nearly
you were no longer viewing that as your moral compass.
2 centuries before the Revolution, this land was settled and forged by men, women, who
Worshipped by men and women.
bore in their souls the blood and noble spirit of the British. Here on a wild and untamed continent, they set loose the ancient English
Yeah, it's about 30% tamed. And some of it was left wild intentionally, I guess.
love of liberty and the Great Britain's distinctive sense of glory, destiny, and pride. And that's what it is: glory, destiny, and pride.
Yes, all three fantastic dancers at Hip Waggers in Tampa.
The American patriots who pledged their lives to independence in 1776 were the heirs to this majestic
The word heirs, is like you got to squeeze that shit out because it sounds like it's spelled AIRS, but it's got an H on the front of it and an E in there, and it's just like, God damn, it just punches you in the dick.
inheritance. Their veins ran
Heirs.
with Anglo-Saxon courage. Their hearts beat with an English faith in standing firm.
If tongue and words have done every single. Why must spelling be so difficult?
What is right, good, and true. In recent years, we've often heard it said that America is merely an idea, but the cause of freedom did not simply appear as an intellectual invention of 1776. The American founding was the culmination of hundreds of years of thought, struggle, sweat, blood, and sacrifice.
Yeah, what was that? That blood you keep bringing up. Who was that? Who was that blood shed fighting? I'm just saying, why was there so much blood? You don't want to keep bringing that up in front of your guest. I mean, it wasn't his fault, but I'm just saying there's a reason for the blood part.
On both sides of the Atlantic. Fate drew a long arc from the meadow at Runnymede to the streets of Philadelphia that ran.
You really want to use the title of a Bruce Springsteen song, considering the situation you found yourself in? I think somebody who, I was about to say whoever wrote the speech is messing with you, but I'm fairly certain they just ChatGPT it and then throw in some other stuff.
Through the lives of people born and bred
In the streets of Philadelphia.
on the British Code that no man should be denied either justice or right. American patriots today can sing, "My country, 'tis of thee, sweet land of liberty,"
I think that's the words, if I'm not mistaken.
only because our colonial ancestors first sang, "God save the King."
No. We could sing it still. We would just have a different melody if we hadn't written it over God Save the King as a fuck you to God Save the King, dummy. The real spirit of Sweet Land of Liberty being written over and as an attack on monarchy, which is what it was. That's why they did it, dummy. That's literally why they did it. They didn't just not have songs. Do you understand that? People wrote melodies and songs and they were capable of it, but they took all the British celebrations of the monarch and rewrote the lyrics to say fuck you to monarchy, this is the land of the free. Do you understand? It wasn't the spirit, it was the opposite spirit. All right, I'm fine. I'm okay. I'm gonna be all right. Whew.
We see today a living symbol of this centuries-old bond, just a few dozen feet to the left, where I stand.
200 feet where I stand. Oh shit! I wasn't sure where it was a dozen feet. Starting where till I saw that sentence that was there the whole time.
There, her late
There, her
Majesty
sorry.
stand. There, her late
There, Her Majesty. President Foster Brooks strikes again.
Majesty.
Her Majesty. Majesty.
Queen Elizabeth, an incredible woman who I had the privilege of getting to know. Queen Elizabeth II, very, very special woman.
Yeah, we understood you didn't get to meet the first. Yeah. That's understand. It was reasonable, considering time working the way it does.
Who is very greatly missed on both sides of that mighty Atlantic.
The mighty Atlantic. It's a mighty long way.
Long ago planted a young tree. It was a very young and beautiful tree. And
yeah, you don't really plant old trees much.
Look at it now.
Well, time has passed, sure.
It's tripled in size and tripled in strength, very much as our nations have even more than tripled.
He didn't like the fact that we've tripled in size. It must be more than that because I'm here now.
Like our nation itself, it was laid with British hands but grew in American soil.
Well, that's not the first time that happened. Boy, sorry. That's not the that's not not the first time that's happened. Thank you very much. I'll be here all night.
Today it stands tall and proud, reaching ever higher. And this morning it reminds us that the mightiest of trees, like the greatest of nations, must be anchored by the strongest and deepest of roots. In the century,
and that's why we as a nation uprooted the English from. Never mind.
Since
sorry, dude. Sorry, didn't mean to. That's.
We won our independence. Americans have had no closer friends than the
no. Next word. Closer friends.
British. We share that same root. We speak the same language.
Some better than others.
We hold the same values.
Well, they beat us to outlawing slavery. I will say that of the British, and they enforced a blockade on. You're a big fan of blockades, right? The British enforced a blockade on slave traders trying to leave port in Africa. Yeah, stopped it. Yeah, the Dutch, the Spanish, everybody was still at it for a very long time. The British opened fire on them. So there you go. And it took us a little while to join them, of course. But.
And together our warriors have defended the same extraordinary civilization under twin banners of red, white, and blue.
Yeah, but the order and the placement, obviously. Don't get me started on the naval jack, because it looks a lot like the Confederacy. Anyways, they're pro-monarchy, in part because of the protectionism around slavery initially, and then they kind of... Anyways.
My wonderful mother, Mary McLeod. Mary McLeod.
Yes, I remember her. The pilot for the show showed her arriving in New York City on a horse with a buckskin jacket, wool on the inside. Sheepskin jacket, I guess, because it was always cold in New York or some shit. Anyways, I love McLeod. Never missed an episode.
was born in Stornoway, Scotland, the Hebrides, and that's what they call very serious Scotland. There's no question about it. Some places they say, well, was it really Scotland? The Hebrides,
Really? Do they say that in Scotland and then get their ass kicked?
that's real.
You're not from real Scotland. Well, I mean, I don't mean to judge, but like, you know, this place. I'm just saying we're in a fucking mall. You know, it didn't. I'm not saying the ground wasn't worth fighting for. I'm just saying blood was shed for this land, and you built on top of it a fucking mini mall. It's a dick. I'm sorry. You know what? Nothing's more Scottish than a mini mall. Fuck off.
Serious Scotland, that's where they had their greatest of warriors. The greatest of warriors.
Yeah, she was a big, thick chick. We get it. Yeah, she was very. Yeah, the weenus on the end of her elbows was like fucking leather. Yeah, tough lady. We get it. Yep.
She came to America at 19, met my
Older than your. All right, never mind.
incredible father. We loved him so much. We all loved him. We loved her. We loved him.
Like that's a weird thing. We did. We loved our parents. We all did. All of us. Me and my brother and sister. My brother died and my sister doesn't like me anymore. But we all love them. I just want to state that in case anybody read anything to the contrary. Considering some of the shit my mom said about me, I just want to make clear that they loved me and I loved them, and they thought I was awesome. Anyways,
Fred, and they were married for 63 years. And excuse me if you don't mind. That's a record we won't be able to match, darling. I'm sorry. Just not going to work out that way. We'll do well, but we're not going to do that well. 63 years.
because he's going to die is what he means. Because she's young and he's going to die. That's hence the Kimmel joke, by the way, which of course was a gold digger joke, really, more than anything else.
And my mother.
My mother, always back to your mother. Why don't you just work it out? My mother, my mother used to say, Mrs. Wyatt Zorick makes the most attractive Santa Claus dolls out of every ivory snow containers. What are you talking about?
I just see it so clearly. She loved, and I told the king this, she loved the royal family.
Yeah, you've said this a lot. You said it all the fucking time. You bring this up all the time.
And she loved the Queen. And anytime the Queen was involved in a ceremony or anything, my mother would be glued to the television and she'd say, "Look, Donald, look how beautiful that is."
Yeah, totally. That's how she spoke. Look, Donald, look how beautiful that is. Young Donald. Yes, enter into this majestic room and not only view the glory of the Queen herself, but listen to how she doesn't talk like a fucking mule kicked her in the head. So, maybe learn a thing or two, Donald. Look, Donald, see how the words flow.
She really did love the family, but I also remember her saying very clearly,
Fuck them. I tried to do it, but I don't want it. I'm not going and try to. I'm going to lots for them, and I said it a couple of times. I'll never forget her saying that.
"Charles, look, young Charles, he's so cute." My mother. My mother had a crush on Charles. Can you believe it?
Yeah, you come from a long line of gawkers, I guess.
Amazing how, I wonder what she's thinking right now.
Thank God I'm in heaven away from Fred. His dad, I mean.
But beneath those beautiful
Just fucking around. Like, okay.
flags 8 decades ago, Prime Minister Winston
Prime Minister,
Churchill and President Franklin Roosevelt famously
flamboyantly.
met on a ship in the North Atlantic to outline a vision for the free world after World War II. That understanding of our nation's unique bond and role in history
He had his hands on both sides because he's got to steady himself, but he's literally got to read with his finger. So he keeps putting his finger down. You notice that? All right.
is the essence of our special relationship, and we hope it will always remain that way. The ship where the two great leaders met was called the Prince of Wales,
How ironic.
very title that His Majesty the King held longer than any other individual in British history, and he held it with great pride and respect.
Well, and also because his mom lived a long goddamn time. You know, in the old days, the Prince of Wales didn't have to wait that long. You know, because stunk.
It's said that when Prime Minister Churchill first met this future king many decades ago, he was so impressed, he made the statement, "He is so young to think so much and so well."
He's so young to think so much and so well. I don't like him. Get him the fuck out of here. I'm trying to be all impressive, and here's this fucking toddler squatting around.
And
That's a little more Hitchcock than Churchill, but, you know.
the bust of your great Prime Minister rests proudly again in the Oval Office. We're very proud to bring it back. We brought it back.
Yeah, they didn't like it. I don't know. Obama wanted to put like an American in there or some shit. I don't know what. But we brought it back because, you know, I was like, find some sculptures that have bigger jowls than me. It was hard, but we did it. Thank God I lived in a time when cheese was plentiful and smoking was not frowned upon, so that the swelling of the face was normal, and I still got a piece of ass on the regular.
Throughout His Majesty's life, the world has witnessed that same thoughtfulness which first struck Britain's greatest Prime Minister.
Look how, like, Charles is looking at him like, God damn, dude, just read it.
His Majesty's intellect, passion, and devotion have been really a blessing to the British people.
As opposed to?
But not only to his own country, but to the cherished bond between the United States and the United Kingdom. And I am very certain.
Other than that thing about letting his brother hang out with his dickhead friend of mine, and that, I mean, obviously that was a mistake. That was something he probably should have remedied. And obviously, back in the old days, they would have handled that differently. All right.
That it will continue that way long into the future. In a few hours, His Majesty will stand in the heart of the United States Capitol as the very first British king ever to address.
He's gonna address it today? I hope so. I hope he gets a chance to address it. Excuse me?
Capitol as the very first British king ever to address a joint session.
Oh, it's the first time anyone's ever addressed anything, because that's not a word that anyone says. You mean address? Address? Like address? It's pretty address. You see it sometimes. Maybe that's what you screwed up. Maybe that's what you looked at it and you think, you read the word and you're like, address. That can't be right. And then it out of your face. And then you just like, I'm not going back for that one. Fuck it. They know what I'm talking about. Adridged. Sorry.
Ever to address a joint session.
That hurts. Ever to Idris. Ever to, yeah, Idris Elba. Yeah, right.
Of the United States Congress. So he's going to be addressing
Yes, that is what he's actually going to be doing.
Congress, and I'm going to be watching.
Yeah, it's going to be great. I'm going to be like my mom on TV. I'm going to go, look, Baron, come. Look how beautiful, child. Stare upon the glory of the king speaking in a place that I, quite frankly, look like, when I speak there, like I've been hit in the head with a shovel. I can't get it together. I don't know what it is. Honestly, at this point,
I was thinking of going, but they said, I don't know. That might be a step too far. I would love to go. It's not supposed to be protocol, but I would love to be with you. But there,
oh, believe me, you'll be with him in spirit. He'll still be able to smell you.
the direct descendant of King George III will speak to the direct successor of the very body that gathered in Independence Hall on July 4th, 1776.
To basically say we either hang together or we hang separately. We got to do this. Oh shit. Okay. So hold on one second. I got to go to where is it? There we go. She grabs like this, and then try to look over here. I just want to see something real quick. It's icons. I try this, and there was. Okay, I have that later. Okay, good. All right, just checking something.
If John Adams and George Washington or the King's fifth great-grandfather could see that sight, they might be absolutely shocked, but probably only for a moment.
Yeah, because they would just be astounded by all the cell phones. The electric lights would have them shitting themselves, I think. That would be the whole thing. Like, why is the temperature of this room temperate, even though outside there's a chill in the wind? What the fuck? All right. There are all these amazing devices about. The lights all run from some sort of magic, and yet this asshole still reads from a piece of paper.
They would be delighted that the wounds of war healed into the most cherished friendship. Think of that very, very long ago difficult war, and yet those wounds,
unlike other wars, like the current one,
did indeed heal into the most cherished of friendships, most cherished.
Yeah, it says most cherished right there. You said it 3 or 4 times, actually.
Have
you mentioned that it's most cherished? Because I really feel like you should hit that one. Yeah. Maybe they should put it in all caps and underline it, and then you can write it on the side in Sharpie, just to make sure you don't forget.
Be moved beyond words to know that the soldiers who once called each other Redcoats and Yankees became the Tommies and the GIs who together saved the free world as brothers in arms and brothers in eternity, and nobody fought better together than us. If they could see us today.
Do you think he knows what brothers in eternity means? They mean the dead ones. Just
our ancestors would surely be filled with awe and pride that
they would be filled with awe and pride. And stop calling me Shirley. Hold on. I'm nearing the end of this thing. Just as long as I can hang on to.
The Anglo-American Revolution and human freedom was never, ever extinguished.
Why was human freedom painful to read? Human freedom? Oh, God.
But carried forward across centuries, across oceans, and across history until it became a fire that lit the entire world. So today we look back on 250...
Oh, I see. Now I understand. He's trying to carry on the tradition of setting the whole world on fire because he misunderstood. Great.
Years. Let us remember what has made our countries the 2 most exceptional nations the world has ever known.
Well, it clearly isn't literacy. How we've managed to just slide by on the lowest level of skill at this point, I don't know.
And together let us go forward with even stronger resolve to carry on our sacred devotion to liberty and to the traditions of excellence that have been our shared gift of all mankind. Your Majesties, thank you once again for making this important visit. We are so honored. May God forever bless the United Kingdom, Great Britain, and Northern Ireland, and may God bless the United States.
Oh, so you're just going to fuck off Scotland entirely? That's a bit of a whiff, don't you think? It's just your mom's from there, and you're just going to leave it out? Okay.
Of America. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you.
Jesus Christ. Why is watching him do make a speech, why is that like watching Evel Knievel try to jump the Snake River Canyon? Why? Why is it just a fucking, it's like a white knuckle experience every time? Like, Jesus. This is at least like, Biden had a stutter and other stuff going on, and he was more like, I would say, like David Lee Roth, who I love. And sometimes you go see a show and you're like, I hope he's on tonight and he wants to do it. And then you're like, oh, okay, well, he's not quite doing the song, but he's having fun. And that's what matters, right? Trump is just kind of like, oh God. Those like stumble compilations that are all over the internet, like watch this and try not to laugh. Full disclosure, those things give me pains in my spine. Like that, the heavyset black lady who stands on a table trying to change a bulb and then she eats shit and falls down or whatever. That physically hurts me to watch. Like I feel bad for her immediately, and I don't find it funny. I want to rush to her aid, right? And so those kind of things, I get really painfully like it's a painful cringe, right? This is very much on the same level, not for him, but for everyone else there, even if I don't like them. Like I have sympathy cringe for Melania. Like honest to God, I just can't. Yeah. Don't get it. Oh God. And she has to see so many of them, and she's married to him. You know what I mean? Like there's a point where like, this is, you get to see that, like, we could avoid this. Not her. Now, I know what a lot of you are thinking. After a speech like that, Trump's got to be singularly the most impressive president of all time. And you can tell he is, not just because he says so, but because he is beloved by the people. This is Hal Sparks Mega Worldwide. Like, subscribe, give a thumbs up, and support the show. Sorry about the nut warning's going to be necessary, I think, on this one. Trump's approval rating hits record low in another poll as voters say economy was better under Biden. Hi-yow. Ooh, ding dong. That's rough. Wow. No, he really, at some point, it's going to be all right. It's just leftover shit from the last economy. We'll fix it. Okay, so I don't believe it. I've heard he's the most popular person ever. Trump's approval rating hits record lows. This is a Forbes video. No, is anybody from the station saying this, or is this just one of those infographic ones? Wait over there. I'm trying my best to make my poll numbers worse. It's hard work. No one, these are low poll numbers like no one's ever seen before. The best low poll numbers, the greatest low in the history of polling. We're seeing numbers that are skyrocketing downward. President Trump's approval rating hit a low point in another poll released Tuesday as the Iran war has driven up gas prices and heightened voters' economic concerns. You don't say. 42% approval rating is his lowest in the past year and down 1 point from March, according to an April Harvard Caps Harris X poll, which found support for his nunt His nunt, support for his nunt. Actions in Iran is growing despite concern across both parties about rising gas prices. So they're he's as he gains support for what he's doing in Iran on the MAGA side, he loses support for what his actions are doing here at home. Awesome. Anyway, so let's there are a couple other things I want to share with you. They've obviously filed a like charges against Comey for the 8647 post, which is gonna go fucking nowhere and is gonna die. It's just so stupid. But speaking of stupid, it's very seldom that that we get to do like a bank shot dunk. This is Peanut Butter Dickhead and Vinny, which is a sitcom waiting to happen. And in the middle, that's Rusty Trombone, also known as hippie Alex Jones. That there was a moment apparently where Pierce Morgan caught, well, it's just the greatest Bible study moment. Pierce Morgan catches Russell Brand in awkward Bible blunder. Well, he's new when he doesn't mean it. So what do you expect? But this I gotta see.
I want to have a Bible study moment, if you don't mind.
Okay. Let's do it.
Mm-hmm.
Rob, can you pull up that clip? Because to me, this was known as the greatest moment of Bible study we had in America in 2026. I thought it was great.
I'm sensing some level of verbal irony, if not full-blown sarcasm here.
But the moment of pause. So here's Russell Brand,
who has 4 rape charges in America and 4 rape charges in England, and the cases are almost running concurrently, which would drive anybody to find Jesus. I mean, why wait till you're in jail to find Jesus? That's so 2003. I don't know.
Who our boys love this guy from Forgetting Sarah Marshall. Mm-hmm. Oh, not the shirt.
Take my eyes. Not the shirt. Just watched that how many times?
Yeah, and then it's just
I love that movie. It's so funny. It's just it's such a good. Why?
Song he sings. Yeah, exactly. So, but this is Pierce Morgan asking a very innocent question, saying, "Is that the Bible you took to court?"
Yeah,
and I would have never guessed. By the way, this probably got hundreds of millions of views. Literally, it got hundreds of millions of views.
Yeah, or you wouldn't be showing it.
It may be uncomfortable.
So go ahead. Here's Pierce Morgan and
it may be uncomfortable. Maybe.
Russell Brand. Go ahead, Rob.
Can I go back to asking you a question about your Bible?
Yes, if you want to.
Thank you. Was that the one you took into court?
You're the very one.
Okay. What was your thinking of taking it into court? And what you were seeing, looking at some passages, what were the relevant passages for you?
All right. Thank you for asking me.
Thank you. That didn't hurt, did it?
Pardon me. I had a bookmark in here and somebody fucking moved it.
I feel like it's like a movie scene.
It was this from Isaiah.
Isaiah.
You're right.
Isaiah? Sure.
Where did say, be chilled.
I just didn't know you pronounced Isaiah
lose the
that way.
chill, man. It's pretty.
Pierce is brilliant. Just
and then he looks into the camera.
It's this.
Just waiting.
They don't like that.
It has to be an act.
By the way, that you could have just said, there's some parts of Isaiah that I've been reading lately. I don't have them committed to memory yet, but stood out to me as something, but I think is a good idea, and the Bible gives me strength. That's all you had to say. Wasn't about relevant passages, it's about ego with him, not really about it. Is it? Is it both? Second Isaiah? Is it both Isaiahs?
This has to be.
He's doing this on purpose.
Spot.
No, he's not doing it on purpose.
This is from Isaiah.
Isaiah.
Or Johan. Well, I call him John.
Johan.
Excuse me.
Oh.
By the way, this is that's the sound of Vinny laughing at an alleged fellow believer. So, the depth of faith here is overwhelming.
To walk away.
A part of me is he trolling?
Trolling him?
No, he's not. There is no dunk, you dumb motherfucker. This doesn't mess with Pierce Morgan at all. How would this be a troll?
You don't troll God like that.
Look at this. Look at this. Look at Pierce. This is still going. It's a minute 20.
It has to be a joke. Look at
Pierce.
I
He's gonna
respect
look at-
Pierce
It says here.
so much. Just let it simmer.
I mean, that's fucking hilarious. But the funny part is these guys making fun of Rusty Trombone.
It says here.
The verse that I was looking at that day was not this. I can't actually find the verse that I had that day.
Well, the Lord does move in mysterious ways. I think there was a verse in 3 Corinthians, 9th Chronicles, chapter 6, verses 6 through 6, where he said, "And lo, I shall fuck with those phony bastards who take my son's name as a shield against rape charges."
But this is good enough. This is from Isaiah 12.
Does he actually end up giving a quote?
I
he
think he
reads
does.
Isaiah.
What
Where
do you
was it?
think?
What was
Vinny?
it? What was Isaiah?
I mean, listen. These are moments on TV. Everybody has. The longer you're on, if you're gonna create content, and you're gonna be on TV,
It's gonna happen.
It's gonna happen to you.
You know,
no one's free.
No. 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 The average person, even on their first time on television, or if you've been on television as many times as I have, there's not a minute and a half where you're leafing through the Bible looking for a verse that you thought was so meaningful. Specifically, it hit you like a lightning bolt and you needed to take the Bible into court with you when you were there on sexual assault charges. No, it doesn't. It doesn't happen like that. It doesn't. That's like saying that watching the Michael Jackson trial and going, look, everybody who goes to court is eventually going to show up in a space general outfit. Like, it just happens. Jesus.
Russell responded as a funny thing. He's like, "I'm still looking for it." He did. If you go to his Instagram, Rob. Oh, but is that it, Rob?
joke.
I think but this is actually funny. He
No, it's really not. It's a shit save.
goes,
This is him.
yeah, on the bottom right. What?
Passage,
He goes, "I'm still
actually,
looking for it."
from Isaiah,
Isaiah.
from Piers Morgan. Wait for it. Wait for it. Look, it was marked all along.
This is it. So when I was on Piers Morgan the other day, I was looking for it. I thought I should find the actual right passage, the exact one that I was looking at.
Pause it.
Listen.
Yeah, he's not being funny. This isn't him being kind of like clapping back on the circumstance, assholes. This is him running cover for his bullshit that he got caught in.
Okay. I think it was real. He was lost in the sauce. By the
And thank you, CSL, as well for this. Yeah.
the Bible, unless you have something like pointing out written like court something, it's so many books, it's so many different verses.
Yeah, that's the problem with the Bible. It's like all the books and verses. That's what I've always said. Like, who's even expected to know any of this shit? You got to put a post-it in there. And the Lord did reach down and give them, he turned 2 Office Depot coupon cards into a multitude. And therein they were able to go in and bring forth many, many post-it notes in a variety of colors for them to make notes upon the scriptures, for their brains were too small to memorize them. What a dick.
You would think somebody would memorize it, but that aside, I mean, I still respect that he's, before a podcast, he's praying, he's changed his life, he's trying to be a.
No. He's telling you he's changed his life. That's not the same thing. He's still bearing false witness every day against people who he accuses of doing things that they did not do, and he knows it, but just for clicks. He's also spending a good deal of time defending Donald Trump, who is accused of the same shit he is guilty of, allegedly.
Person. I mean, what he said about the, 16-year-old and 30-year-old with the, what was it, Rob, that he said, it was consent or he was living a different life. I don't agree with that one at all.
Well, that's not for you to judge. He's on Team Jesus now, and because he says so. And as long as you know the password, you don't actually have to be a good member of the club.
But he's trying.
What is that?
He's trying what? Trying to avoid prison.
He was on.
Yeah. The Megyn Kelly clip.
The Megyn Kelly clip with that, that kind of threw me off.
You have that, Rob?
I do. Hang on.
Yeah, can you play? Yeah, and why are you looking at that? Because Pat, you know where I stand. Anybody that's trying to be better, anybody that's
anybody. Yeah, and also, just because they're trying to be better doesn't mean they get to walk around in public. Jeffrey Dahmer allegedly was finding Jesus in his last couple of weeks on the planet. That doesn't mean he gets out. You can try to be better in a cell, motherfucker.
In the book, anybody that's trying, I commend them and I pray for them because he is actually, I don't think he's a fake. He's not being a fake Christian. He's actually, I could see the Holy Spirit.
I know you think that because he's politically on your side. That's the only reason you believe that. If he was a well-known liberal, an actor, a politician, somebody like that, you wouldn't believe a fucking word of it.
In him, but go
ahead, Rob.
Still a messed up thing.
Europe and in the United Kingdom where I'm from, the age of consent is.
Oh, this is going to be good. Maybe you should hire Dershowitz as his attorney over here.
16, and I did sleep with a 16-year-old when I was 30. But when I was 30, I was a very different person.
Right, man.
No, you were an adult.
I was a lot younger, and I was an immature 30-year-old.
No, you aren't. You were a hedonistic, self-involved prick. That is not an act of. That has nothing to do with maturity.
Consensual sex, actually, with a variety of people, when there is a strong power differential, as there is when you're a famous man that has the ability to attract women that I had at that time, I think involves exploitation. I think it is.
Oh, fuck off. No. If you're 30 and she's 30 or she's 35, the idea that you're a big fancy actor because you've been in Forgetting fucking Sarah Marshall at that point, or Get Him to the Greek, that automatically opened the goddamn, she's got no power to turn this shit down. I'm that famous. Like, shut up. Adult women are not children. They can make these decisions on their own. And don't turn this into, try to, make this a power differential thing when you're 30 and she's fucking 16. That's not the same thing. There are plenty of 30-year-old fucking rednecks that sleep with 16-year-old fucking rednecks, and there's no power differential. It's just manipulation.
Impossible.
And again, coming clean, saying it, being honest about it, I'm all for that. Number two, the thing itself, it's not illegal there, but just as a man, I don't think at 30 years old I was ever thinking about anything with a 16-year-old. That's just me personally.
Tom.
Really? It didn't bother you that Donald Trump said his absolute floor was 12? And that he would walk in on 15-year-olds while they were changing? Because he has the right to, because he owns the pageant? That doesn't bother you? And he's unrepentant about it. He's not even doing the performative bullshit Christianity that Russell Brand is doing to save his, to keep himself out of jail. Trump did the same shit and can think of no reason he should ever ask forgiveness, which is singularly the most anti-Christian thing you can do. To not believe you have to atone for sin or admit sin. You don't even get to do the quote John 3:16 and skate through the gates. You have to atone or admit your sin or admit that you're a sinner, and he refuses to.
So every now and then God shows up, and I think
Why can't he show up with a lightning bolt in these situations? Notice he always shows up for your friends with forgiveness and a light touch. Everybody else deserves to burn in hell or rot in a jail until they burn in hell. Anybody on your side, the grace, it's the grace. They are delivered. They're made whole by his grace.
Sometimes celebrities have to be very careful when they put the Christian faith, or any faith for that matter, out, and somebody who's knowledgeable asks you a question. I think Russell Brand right there in that clip with Megyn was trying to not, I think he was trying to explain the situation. He was saying, hey, I don't think what I did was right. I don't think it was there. Al Gore was asked, Pat, while they were...
I think he was trying to point out that fucking a 16-year-old in the UK is technically legal. I think that was the focus of that. So that person would know that you can't bring charges against me because as far as we were concerned at the time, it was consensual even though you were 16 and I was 30. That's why he brought it up, because it was legal in England. Wasn't ethical, wasn't moral. Right, I know that now. I've learned so much, I've learned so much.
He was trying to show that he's so in with the Christians. He was asked, and we can find it somewhere, what his favorite, one of his most notable or favorite verses is, and he said, show it to me, Rob, John 16:3.
Oh, shit. Really? That is Trump-level Bible illiteracy.
Scrambled John 3:16. He meant to say John 3:16 because he sees that on t-shirts. He said John 16:3. And John 16:3 is, they will do such things because they have not known the Father or me.
Ouch.
Al Gore did it.
Wow.
And it was like everybody blew up for a week because it was like,
What the hell?
you stupid punk. It's like, you can't.
But look, Tom, listen.
Is that great? It's like,
you
and
can't.
by the way, it's not
We can't make fun of him because he's on our side of the aisle.
just Al Gore. Anybody that tries to
Tom,
go
they
out,
asked the president.
try to look the
Did
part.
you see when they asked the president what he said about scripture? Have you ever seen
Oh, shit. Yeah, You're gonna go worse?
that?
Oh, no.
And by the way, this is 90% of people, maybe even more, when you ask him, what's your favorite scripture? Some will say, my favorite scripture is never, ever give up. No, that's Churchill.
That's I think it's actually Galaxy Quest. Never surrender.
Somewhere in the Bible. It's great.
Never.
Yeah, but...
Yeah, that's your douchebag friends. Who the fuck says that?
Adam, your thoughts, because I know you're very close to this.
Of course. Well, listen, I don't know anybody other than Russell Brand that's basically caused a frenzy on Piers Morgan that maybe he didn't over-deliver. I don't know anybody that would fall into that category. So shout out to you and congratulations, Russell Brand, for going back in your Bible and finding Isaiah.
Wait. I just thought of another
it.
guy.
Tom, stop it. But listen, shout out to him for showing up. Shout out to him for basically owning what he's done.
He's not. He's on a PR tour because he's got 8 rape charges against him. It's crisis PR.
I guess technically, legally speaking, what he did when he was 30 with a 16-year-old is legal, but from a moral perspective, that's completely disgusting.
Right, but you can't be fined for moral indiscretions, just the legal ones. So he wants to make it abundantly clear that the government in no way can take any of his $18 to $35 million that he has and give it to that girl because,
16 years old, you're 30? Unbelievable. Although there's, I think, 35 states in America where 16 is legal. It's a weird loophole. But I will give him credit.
The number?
I will give him credit. Tom, why do you keep talking when I'm talking? What is your deal, buddy?
ouch. God, a little abrasive today. Is there something else going on? Does this hit too close to home? Are you harboring some sort of Russell Brand bear trap in your past that you're afraid to step in?
One thing was it? I'll stop talking.
Tradition.
Go ahead. Answer for me.
I said it's habit and tradition.
I like that. Habit and tradition.
Okay.
Yeah, he's just not having it today. Like Apparently, being a whingy bitch is contagious in that room.
Anyway, speaking of creepy people, thank you, Tom. What we're solving for, I guess, what Russell Brand is doing is.
I mean, we all like it when they attack each other. It would be nice to know if it was based in anything as opposed to just, oh yeah, they're just all dicks in a room.
Progress, not perfection, that you always talk about, right? But listen, Russell, I get it. You're creepy. I'm surrounded by creepy people sometimes. Just do better. Right, Tom?
Yeah, that was awkward, but okay. I can't tell you. Yes.
We're going to go back to selling shoes. Well, I can't tell you, there's all these hats I got sitting in my fucking garage that nobody wants to buy that say Future's got bright on.
I'm at a football game.
And the guy walks up to me wearing a Future looks bright jockstrap. And he's like, hey, check out the bottom of my shoes. I got arrested leaving a crime scene because I left tracks that said Future looks bright. And they all the way to the car and they found me and threw me in. Thanks a lot, asshole. So stupid. They're just the shoes. Get over yourself. Anyways, I have merch too, but I don't just have to shove it down anybody's throat. This is nice. All right. I didn't get to see. There was. Oh, he was going to play the Trump Bible. I don't want where he was like, "What's your favorite book? What's your favorite verse?" I don't know. It's very personal. What a great fallback. It's so personal. I don't even want to say. Donald Trump could not quote Jesus wept without a prompter, an earpiece, and cue cards. Please. Just stop. But now we enter the action part of the show. Ladies and gentlemen, hit the like, share the show. It's House Parks Mega Worldwide. Like, subscribe, give you a thumbs up, support the show, Venmo. Also, super chats and bits and stuff and hype train, help out the show, etc., etc., etc. Because now we go to action. It's not quite the Fast and Furious. It's the slow and slightly irritated. But, it's the best we can do on a Tuesday. This is a zero-fail mission. Former deputy FBI director, a.k.a. quitter. Also, why is it that Bongholio, every time he talks, sounds like douchebag macho Mad Libs? Where there's big blanks in the sentences and you're only allowed to fill them in with like vaguely jingoistic, militaristic, or macho catchphrases. I don't know why you look so mad. You're the one that quit.
Joining us now is Kash Patel's former deputy FBI.
Why is he a former? I didn't hear. What was the reasoning behind being a former? Anybody know? Why is he not still around? I don't know. That's interesting. Maybe we'll find out in this clip. I don't know.
Director and also former Secret Service himself, our friend Dan Bongino,
which did not help him shave the top of his mustache properly and made it it's a little cattywampus.
With us. Dan, I have nothing, as you know, nothing but the utmost respect for guys. We saw this on Saturday night. They race to where the trouble is. They're willing to take a bullet for the president and all the cabinet officials. Those guys on the ground, I don't have enough praise for what they do.
But,
however, when you look at the three instances that I've been discussing, be it.
Oh, it's just, they're doing a great job, except when the dude bum rushes the magnetometers and manages to get, a floor and a half away from the president.
Butler, be it Trump International or be it on Saturday night, they seem, there seems to
Yeah, there's a lack of commitment there. It's
be a lack of sweeping.
Sweeping? Could you try and have a little less tooth sibilance? You're breaking Dan's brain with your S whistles.
They seem there seems to be a lack of sweeping.
Sweeping? There seems to be a bear stuck in a hole.
Securing after you
Can you just avoid S's for a while? Are these new teeth? What is happening? Why are you talking like the gopher in Winnie the Pooh?
and the perimeter did not seem big enough. And this seems to be a common trait.
Seems when the perimeter was not, they didn't do a sweep.
In all three examples. I'm not being critical.
You kind of are. And also, why the fuck not? I mean, you could be critical of it shouldn't have gotten this far. That's the easy part. Maybe we take better care next time. Maybe, fish rots from the head and Mark Wayne Mullen came in and immediately started fucking up.
Just being analytical here and something
got that bear stuck in a hole.
My mind has to change. I know when I go, and you've been to RNC conventions and DNC conventions, sometimes you're a half mile and you've got 3 stops before you can even think about getting in the building.
Yeah, but that's because all the RNC things, they don't really want you there, Sean. Everybody else goes really quick through this other door, but when you show up, they're like, that over there, psst, that way. Like that takes me down the street to a. Why am I just go ahead?
That was not the case Saturday night.
Yeah, that's very true.
Not the case in Butler. Not the case at Trump International.
It's the deep state. It's got to be a deep state. Not letting them do their job.
Yeah, Sean, I think with the pretty thorough after-action review that's going to happen on this, I think that's going to be one of the things Secret Service and Director Kern's going to have to analyze going forward.
Yeah, one is give everybody a pee break because they were all running like they had to go.
Here's the problem, and I
was just about to go. It was like, felt like Noah Wiley in the pit. I was like, never get a chance to take a piss.
Trying to describe it earlier in the day to some folks about expanding the perimeter. And I agree with you that we're going to have to do that middle perimeter. If you envision the inner box within a box as
yes, we're all picturing that now.
Everyone within kind of arm's reach of the president, meaning you can go up to bike rack and shake his hand in a rope line. You may be on the stage with him. The middle perimeter you see is the magnetometer checkpoint. The outer perimeter is where you do
is called the rest of the earth.
General surveillance, but everyone's still dirty, meaning they could have a weapon.
Well, thank you very much. Watch yourself, you dirty self.
Or a knife. They haven't passed the mag yet.
We have audio of the third perimeter, I think. Hey, dude, they're shooting. Son of a bitch.
Envision those 3 areas. The problem that I see immediately with the event here was there may have been a compressed middle perimeter here. And the issue you have is envision the middle perimeter like a big, huge fishbowl.
Yeah, that's a great image. Yeah, or a event space.
Start piling people in. You can see people inside the fishbowl. It's glass, just like you can see through the magnetometer. However, there's a barrier in between you.
Yes, it is true. Bongholio on several occasions has tried to walk through screen doors, and it hasn't worked out well.
That magnetometer, correct? And the more people you pile inside the fishbowl require assets to sweep them before they go in the fishbowl clean. Magnetometer assets, you have to bring the mags, you have to staff them with uniform division folks.
Yes, we've all been to a sporting event.
Secret Service is going to need, in my humble opinion, a major resource plus up. They just do. They're struggling for personnel like a lot of federal agencies on the law enforcement side.
Sorry, I thought recruitment was through the fucking roof.
Because
everyone can, like everybody wants to join this administration. That's why he keeps having to poach this, people from one job he's put them into another job and leave that other one open.
Just struggling for folks right now, and I think it's just a manpower issue. But I agree, we have to fix it. This is a zero fail mission.
Is there anything?
Well, no, there were multiple failures, and yet the president was still there. I mean, there's no such thing as a zero fail mission. Even the Apollo mission, they got home safely. They had several failures. You don't want a catastrophic failure, but
Disagree with that. You have to move the perimeter out. In this case, I would move it probably even outside the hotel. The idea that not every crevice and corner of that hotel was not swept is startling.
Swept and is startling.
To me, meaning guests could walk in, have guns with them, nobody would know. They come down the elevator, they're in the lobby, and we saw what happened in that moment.
Yeah, the guy had to assemble his gun, at least the one, I guess the shotgun. I don't know what that business was about. I don't know who's assembling a shotgun. I haven't seen a picture of it, but in an ante room where people apparently saw him doing it.
Yeah.
Also, he was kind of naked.
Well, again, I'm just giving explanations. I'm not making excuses for anybody. There'll be an after action review. They'll get all the details on this. I'm just telling you, like, the way this works and the.
Yeah, real quick, I have a question. Would you, the president, hypothetically, is an old fart with swollen ankles and, obvious cognitive issues and a nut bigger than his gut, and you're getting him out of there, and you got a limited amount of time. Do you tell him to crawl, or do you tell him get down, just to fuck with him, or?
Reason they think they didn't do this, and it turned out in this case to not have ended very well with this guy storming the magnetometer checkpoint, is whatever you are going to sweep, you have to post first, and then you have to hold. So you.
Yeah, honestly, like I said, you could have fixed this with turnstiles. Or you literally could have put a snake line in. That would have done it. For real. Like, if you'd have just done velvet ropes like this in front of the magnetometers, he wouldn't have been able to build up the speed that he went through. He might have been able to jump one, but he'd have ate shit on the other ones. That would have done it. It really would have. Because the plan was stupid from the beginning. You could literally just do a snake line, and that would have stopped it. I'm not kidding.
To sweep an entire hotel with 1,100 rooms, again, folks, it's just an explanation. You do with it what you will. You have to hold that. You can't just sweep it and walk away. I think you kind of.
Yeah, you can. You can clear the area, and you can clear the entrances and exits so that once you've cleared the rooms, like, there's nobody fucking, you could see them spidering on the outside of the fucking building if you check the room, and then they drop down onto the balcony and go inside and go, now I'm free to carry out my plan. No, you're not. If there's a guy in the elevator, there's a guy in the elevator. You're fucked.
I've alluded to that earlier in the show. I was listening. Once I sweep a floor in a hotel, you can't just sweep it and walk away. Someone could just, yeah, all right, if you don't hold it, you just wasted your time. And given the fact that the Secret Service is dealing with pretty dramatic manpower constraints right.
No. If you have a whole hotel and you've swept the floors and you've checked on all the guests to make sure if they're supposed to be there or not, whatever, you've done that once. Then you have people at the entrances and exits of the main floor, unless this fucker is rappelling down from the top floors, which again, I presume you would see, they can't get past you. You cover the service elevators, the regular elevators, and all the stairs. It wouldn't matter if there was somebody on the 9th floor in one of the hotel rooms, because he would never fucking get there. Of course you can sweep floors and move on, you dumb motherfucker. We've been doing it forever.
Now,
this wasn't a failure of sweeping the floors. The guy had a reservation. He was able to be at the room. You'd have knocked on his door. He'd have answered it in a fucking towel and gone, hi guys. Yeah, no, this is my room. This is my room key. Here's my ID. I'm here. Because he plans on, I think this was a lame attempted suicide by cop, quite frankly, while trying to make himself look like a good guy.
I think they're kind of just, robbing Peter to pay Paul a little bit, and they're trying to get by with a president who's very accessible. I mean, Sean, the president is out there. He's not going to stop traveling. He's not afraid.
It sounds like he is. He wants the ballroom so he never has to leave the White House, like ever. And he may not. He may not. I mean, I don't think he's going to make it till 2028, so he may never again leave the White House. That's a possibility.
Go out there and shake hands. He's not scared of any of this stuff. And
yeah, he is. He's terrified of it. Of course he is.
accessibility comes with a trade-off.
Well,
hey, I got to address one thing, though.
Yeah,
you
go
brought up, yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Well, I want to ask
you addressed earlier Hakeem Jeffries talking about this civility thing. Listen, Hakeem, we're not asking for civility, guy. We're just asking that your Democrats just stop trying to shoot President Trump.
Yeah, okay. First of all, 2 out of 3 of these people are full-on maggots. Voted for Trump or supported him and then didn't like the way he went. So, no, there's not a trend here, asshole. Thirdly, this guy is not indicative of Democrats. The rest of us vote. That's how we change the office. That's the vast majority. And also, that's like me saying, "Hey, how about you motherfuckers on the right stop blowing up preschools trying to knock out federal buildings because you got a boner reading the Turner Diaries?" What's the difference? For real. Or shooting up Walmarts because there's too many Hispanic people in there. Or charging up the steps of the Capitol and tasing police officers until they have heart attacks. Shut the fuck up.
Okay? We're not, forget civility. We don't give a damn if you're nice and if you write respectfully at the end of your emails. Just please stop trying to shoot the president.
Yeah, no Democrat has. This guy was even an unaffiliated voter, you dumbass. Just like Tucker.
Like, can we just agree on that, Mr. Jeffries? I'm sorry, I just had to address. I was a little annoyed.
Yeah, it wouldn't be a Hannity segment with you on if you didn't say something kind of just blatantly stupid and self-aggrandizing and oversimplifying, which would cause more violence, where you're directly accusing Democrats of trying to shoot the fucking president. Again, when this guy was an unaffiliated voter. Apparently, Democrats weren't good enough for him either. He was extreme. That's how that shit works.
When I heard that.
You're always free to go on as long as you want. We don't care. We always love what you say. If we're going to...
Always? That's kind of weird.
Sweep, secure, and hold, as you say. And we don't have the manpower. It's 1,100 rooms. I don't know what the capacity of that hotel is.
You don't have to hold the fucking building. Jesus Christ. You got the entirety of the Capitol Police. You could pull divisions if you need to cover the room. It's a big event. There are plenty of fucking people that are able to do this.
Okay, let's say that's all true. They don't have the manpower. Doesn't that mean then the decision has to be made? The event can't be held there.
No. It just means the decision has to be made that Trump can't go. The rest of the world doesn't have to be put on hold because he can't get his act together and he puts fuck-ups in charge of things.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of decisions.
This is them selling the ballroom.
That are going to have to be altered in the future when it comes to... I mean, listen, this is the most threatened man on earth. Can we just all agree at this point? There's no close second here either.
Yeah, there is. Obama is the first black president, got way more death threats.
The man has survived multiple...
Also, the other two happened when, A, he was campaigning, wasn't president at the time, even though he had Secret Service protection. It wasn't the actual commander-in-chief when it occurred the first time. And the second time was, again, a former supporter of his who went to his fucking golf course.
Multiple attempts on his life.
I think it's obvious. Trump is not safe at Mar-a-Lago anymore. There's too many strangers there. You can't secure it. For real. If he's not safe at that hotel, he's sure as shit not safe at Mar-a-Lago. It's a more open space. He goes out and speaks to fucking weddings that are in the courtyard, which is outside. There's a clear shot, no pun intended, direct view of that space from like, up to a mile away. So why is he comfortable going there? But anything that happens in DC's got to happen in a fucking fake fortress he makes.
And there's probably others out there that were stopped and mitigated we don't even know about.
Right. On all presidents, including Biden and Obama.
However, he is going to travel. He's just not afraid.
Yes, he is. That's why he wants the ballroom so he never has to leave the White House again. He's swiftly turning into Howard Hughes.
He's not. He's going to go out there and he's going to do his thing. He's going to go out and give rallies, and he's going to go out during the midterms.
Yeah, but they're all indoors now. Do you notice that? He's not doing outdoor rallies anymore.
They are going to need a lot of help. They're going to need private sector help as well. You know, I'd like to see what the hotel, I'm not indicting the hotel. I have not seen what the hotel did. I'm sure they had security. However,
sorry. No. You don't get to blame the rent-a-cops that get hired to work at a fucking hotel for presidential level security. They get broomed out of the fucking way when the president's team comes in. Are you out of your fucking mind? That's just ridiculous. You know what the extent of their involvement is? Give me your key card. That's it. Okay. Here you go. Sorry. Go sit over there. Do you guys carry guns? We got pepper spray and a cell phone. Get the fuck out of here.
We're going to need some help from private sector partners. That if we do an event at your place, you know, you may have to bring in a couple days in advance some private sector folks to give a.
What? Why? No. They have an enormous fucking budget. They could reallocate National Guard people to it. They can do all kinds of shit if they need extra people from the government. We got a lot of security personnel sitting around itching to do fucking something.
A little bit of an extra eye.
No, what are you talking about? The fucking hotel is not responsible if the president decides to show up to pay out of their own pocket to cover the security, dumbass. What the fuck? And how would that not be a bribe? Yeah, you can come to the Wynn. We'll pay for total security. Also, how do you know they're not mercenaries? We don't screen our people as heavily as you screen yours. I guess it's your ass.
Extra eyeballs can't possibly hurt.
Yeah, they can. If they haven't taken an oath to defend the president, maybe they're on the other side. Maybe they would help. Maybe that's a breach in security. What the fuck is this dickhead talking about?
It can only help.
No. Okay. I don't even like Trump. Can't stand him. Jesus Christ. I don't like the guy, but I don't want him to die at the hands of anybody else while he's in office. I don't want it. I'm not interested in that. It's not my, I'm flat out against it. I think it's a terrible thing for the country. And it's a terrible thing for the people getting along in the country, especially. It would be fucked up, and maggots would assume everybody was in on it and start killing their neighbors. It would be terrible. I'm not for it. There's a big argument that it would trigger a civil war, at least in small startups that would end up in a lot of innocent Americans just getting murdered on behalf of this tool. So I want him to live a long life, hopefully in a 8x8 gray cell. But it is the responsibility specifically of the government to provide security for the president of the United States, and outsourcing it to the private sector. Now, it shouldn't come as any surprise, because this fuckwad also would like us to outsource the VA and Medicare and Medicaid to private entities, right? Maybe this is just the conservative line. No, it's not the fucking venue's responsibility when the president decides to show up. Shithead.
Yeah, I did speak with him when he was in the whole room only a couple of minutes after this all went down, and he was fighting to go back out. He wanted to go back out.
Well, yeah, because he knew it was fake. No, I'm kidding. Or am I? No, it's all right. Everybody believes it.
And he's not fazed by any of this.
No.
Well, because he knows there's dozens of people between him and violence that will die on his behalf, and he doesn't give a rat's ass about them. He never thought he was in any real danger.
Talked to him like a day after he was shot in the ear, and he
wasn't shot in the ear. He was nicked by a piece of glass from his teleprompter.
He mentioned it for like 10 seconds and moved on like nothing.
Yeah, it's weird. It's like he just doesn't, everybody's interested in the JFK assassination. They want to see every frame of the fucking Zapruder film, and Oswald couldn't have acted alone and stuff. But when it comes to Thomas Crooks, it's like he's the least interested motherfucker ever. It's weird. He's like, forget about it. Anyways, I heard something, blah, blah, blah. Anyways, you don't think the guy might have been working with somebody, or that they helped set it up? It didn't seem weird that he got that close. Nah, it doesn't bother me at all. That might contribute to the fact that people think he's in on it. That might be why. That, and he's the boy who cried fake news, so nobody believes anything he says anymore.
Think it even happened. He
Well, you might be onto something, shithead.
He's not afraid of this stuff at all. So we better get the Secret Service the resources to be able to secure his life.
All right.
They have the resources. Mark Wayne Mullen is in charge of DHS now. Kristi Noem was in charge. In the handoff, they didn't change policy or whatever. If they should have, he didn't do anything.
By the way, Dan Bongino will be on my podcast. We drop it tomorrow.
Oh, shit. You're dropping a new podcast. So Sean Hannity's dropping it. And Bon Holio's going to be on there. Damn. Don't care. Anyways, this is like in the panic room world of right-wing politics right now. None of them can figure out quite why nobody takes this seriously anymore. And it's because Trump doesn't. And also because he shrugs it off, a lot of people feel like it might have been fake, might have been bullshit. And the reason they feel that way is because he would be more concerned to find out who was behind it and wouldn't immediately go, he's a lone wolf. Lone wolf. He's a lone wolf. I heard he was a lone wolf. They used the word lone. They used the phrase lone wolf, and they said lone wolf. So I just assume it's a lone wolf and don't worry about it. Yeah. Sure. You're not concerned about a coordinated attack, that guy could have been like a patsy runner, and then the follow-up was poisoning your food, and it takes 5 days for it to take effect? Just saying, maybe think shit through. Okay, so, but a lot of people very offended that Norah O'Donnell read the words of the I would say shooter, but we're not even sure if he actually fired a shot yet. The dude who attempted unaliving himself by a cop, Lone Wolf McQuade. I love Lone Wolf McQuade. I love that movie. Just saying. One of my favorites. Always has been. Especially the part where he's in his truck and he's buried alive and he guns it because he's got a nitrous system and it's fucking awesome. Anyways, but thank God nobody who likes the president would read that out loud. Oh shit. Alex Jones reads Trump's attempted DC assassin Cole Allen's manifesto. It's kind of clunky. Work on that title for next time.
I don't expect forgiveness, but if I could have seen any other way to get this close, I would have taken it. Again, my sincere apology.
Also, there are a lot of ways you could have gotten closer in theory, and you didn't. You were still a floor away. He didn't get close. He didn't get in the same room. Run as fast as you can, motherfucker, but you try that, you're going to get taken down. That's how it works. Sorry.
Yeah, for months they announced this event, which is why everybody was so scared. On to why I did any of this. I am a citizen of the United States of America. Or for the Jet Propulsion Laboratory.
Hold real quick. Is he drunk again? He's drunk again, isn't he? Like, I haven't heard him sound this drunk since he wanted to fuck Tim Pool.
What my representatives do...
I'm sorry, that's not fair. He just wanted a lap dance from Tim Pool. We have no information about whether he ever got one or if he's still waiting.
...flex on me. And I am no longer willing to permit a pedophile, rapist, and traitor to coat my hands with his crimes. Well, to be completely honest, I was no longer willing for a long time ago, but this is the first real opportunity I've had to do something about it. Yeah, Trump advertised this for months. While I'm discussing this, I'll also go over my expected rules of engagement.
Yeah, he's drunk. He's just, The place is being sold off. So I'm going to get that desk, motherfucker. I'm going to get it. I'm getting that desk at some point. I'm going to change the decal on the front of it. Because it's just a piece of like projected Mylar, but whatever.
In a terrible format, but I'm not military, so too bad. Administration officials.
Here comes the brilliant plan.
Not including Mr. Patel.
Blah, 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 blah,
They are my
blah,
targets.
blah, 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 blah. Yeah, brilliant strategy. How could this not have worked?
Why is he not? Oh, okay. Administration officials, not including Mr. Patel.
Administration officials hammered.
They are my targets. Prioritizing from the highest ranking to the lowest. Why is he off the list? Weird.
I'm so drunk I can barely stand it. I'm sitting behind this desk, hiding my cankles, cause I'm just as fat as slovenly as Trump. But I don't know why he had me jump off the... Right.
Try to get in and shoot the president and others, that Cole Thomas Allen sent them an email with this information. And here's a copy of it right now. Hello, everybody.
You sure you're reading that right? I think it's more like,
oh, hello there.
All right, there you go.
So I may have given a lot of people a surprise today. Let me start off by apologizing to everyone whose trust I abused.
Like everybody ever in the world.
I apologize to my parents for saying I had an interview without specifying it was for Most Wanted. I apologize to my colleagues.
All right, start with a joke like any good speech.
And students for saying I had a personal emergency. By the time everyone reads this, I probably most certainly do need to go to the ER, but can hardly call that not a self-inflicted status. So he's all just going off the Mangione energy here with California trying to pass bills in his name. I apologize to all the people I traveled next to, all the workers who handle my luggage, and all the other non-targeted people at the hotel.
Source information, which is received $25 earmarked for Harris for, yeah, it paid $25 for Harris for president because it was Act Blue. $25 whole dollars. That's why we got to get money out of politics.
Who I put in danger simply to being near. I apologize to everyone who was abused and or murdered before this, to all those who suffered before I was able to attempt this, to all those who may still suffer after, regardless of my success or failure. I don't expect forgiveness, but if I could have seen any other way to get this close, I would have taken it. Again, my sincere apologies. Yeah, for months they announced this event, which is why everybody was so scared.
No, everybody wasn't so scared. The whole point is they didn't take the threat seriously enough and he was able to get close. The fuck are you talking about?
On to why I did any of this. I am a citizen of the United States of America. Jet Propulsion Laboratory. What my representatives do.
Sorry to people who work at Jet Propulsion Laboratories. Are they not Americans? Do they not bleed red, white, and blue, Alex?
On me. And I am no longer willing to permit a pedophile, rapist, and traitor to coat my hands with his crimes. Well, to be completely honest, I was no longer willing for a long time ago, but this is the first real opportunity I've had to do something about it. Yeah, Trump advertised this for months. While I'm discussing this, I'll also go.
Yeah, that also doesn't, even though he advertised it for months, there was a lot of question as to whether he would show up anyways. Right? Hold on one second. Open with... Hold on a second. Why would it not? I don't understand. Like open. Why would these not open with preview? I don't. What the hell? Open with. Let me see. I'll just open it with Comet. See what happens. Yeah, that's right. Okay. Did it open them in a row or one thing? Okay, each one's individual. Gotcha. Okay. I'm looking up something real quick. Okay, there we go.
Over my expected rules of engagement, probably in a terrible format, but I'm not military, so too bad. Administration officials, not including Mr. Patel, they are my targets. Why is he not? Oh, okay. Administration officials.
By the way, when he says, "Oh, okay," that's Alex Jones assuming it's a skin color, like I see you, other brown guy. That's where he thinks it is.
Not including Mr. Patel, they are my targets. Prioritizing from the highest ranking to the lowest. Why is he off the list? Weird. Secret Service, they are targets.
Odd. And you'd think he'd have something to do with the sweeping of the venue. Maybe they had an agreement beforehand.
Only when necessary and to be incapacitated non-lethally. Shot one with a shotgun, but he wore body armor. Impossible, aka I hope they're wearing body armor because center of mass with shotguns messes up people who aren't. Hotel security, not targets.
Also, by the way, we don't know which gun the Secret Service guy was shot with. Wasn't necessarily the shotgun, more than likely a handgun. And then the follow-up part was that maybe it wasn't even from him at all, that the shots were fired from other Secret Service guys.
If any possible, aka useless, unless they shoot at me. Capitol Police, same as hotel security.
Hotel security. Maybe, I don't know, drink less on the job.
Regard, same as hotel security. Hotel employees, not targets at all. Guests, not targets at all. In order to minimize casualties, I will also be using buckshot.
Oh, that's the video of Kash Patel outside calling his girlfriend instead of being on scene. Nobody fucking knows. I mean, granted, he's doing more good by doing nothing. So I'm not complaining about the fact that he's dicking around outside. But he was basically like, I'm fine, baby. I was always safe. Don't worry about it. Yeah, aren't you glad I didn't invite you now? Yes, I did invite the guy I stay with when I live in Las Vegas, who's much older than me and lets me use his pool house. Why? Hello?
Shot rather than slugs, less penetration through walls. That's what I said it
Still had handguns, though, so grain of salt.
was. I would still go through most everyone here to get to the targets if it were absolutely necessary, on the basis that most people choose to attend a speech by a pedophile, rapist, and traitor, and thus complicit. But it really hope it doesn't come to that. That's reportedly Cole Thomas Allen's manifesto.
If you suffer from low
testosterone, you probably watch Alex Jones for some camaraderie. Yeah, so I'm sure they're coming back to do something more of that. But that's, for the most part, that's what's left of the statement, I guess, from that guy, which again points to the general idiocy of the guy who tried to pull it off. And again, it looks more like an attempt to shuffle off this mortal coil while looking like a good guy to a certain group of people. Like, you're going to be unsuccessful, so better to go out like that. Blaze of glory bullshit, right? Which, while a fairly decent song, is No Wanted Dead or Alive. I know that's the song they wanted. I still think maybe in the sequel. All right, so I just want to show you the title of this next video. Is it okay? I just want to bring this one up because I like this kind of shit. Here you go, Cockeyed Jenkins over here. The top Democrat. Based on public reporting, it appears Kash Patel is a raging alcoholic. And you guys say that Democrats don't fight back. Based on public reporting. Wait till we see the real records.
Thank you, Charmaine Aguilar.
By the way, we love Ted Lieu.
Political violence is never acceptable, and I'm grateful no one was injured with the shooting at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. I know that some of you in this room were at that dinner, and I am sorry that you've now joined the growing list of Americans who have been affected by gun violence.
Yes. And the question I would ask you is, did you handle it as well as a fifth grader? Are you as emotionally resilient as a fifth grader? Is the new game show that we're playing on, of course, that's not how it works.
That's not how it works.
That's right. You don't get to bitch about it when you're a full-grown adult with armed people around you all the time, when you're telling kids to suck it up. Fuck you. All right. Anyways, back to you, Ted Lieu. Thank you so much for the super chat. Good Lord. Bless you.
The Department of Justice to prosecute the shooter to the fullest extent of the law.
Agreed.
FISA Section 702 is a big controversy right now in Congress, and I want the American people to understand why there is this controversy. It's because FISA Section 702 allows the FBI to spy on Americans. And many Democrats and some Republicans simply want a warrant requirement because the U.S. Constitution demands that you need warrants under the Fourth Amendment if you're going to spy on Americans. It is not a complicated or difficult concept. But there's another reason why this FISA reauthorization is having such problems. It's because of the FBI director himself. Kash Patel is a major obstacle to getting to a FISA deal, and it's because many members of Congress simply do not trust Kash Patel.
Right. They're okay handing these powers over to somebody who actually gives a shit, but they're worried that this asshole is drunk at the wheel.
Based on public reporting, it appears Kash Patel is a raging alcoholic.
Well, all right. You're going right there, are you?
Patel. Based on public reporting, it appears Kash Patel is a raging alcoholic.
Sorry. Oh, all right. All right, okay. Calm down.
There's also videotape of him flying to the Olympics on taxpayers' dime and partying and drinking. There's also an article from New York Times.
Yeah, but you can't expect a guy like that to be comfortable around other human beings and while he's sober. Have you heard him talk?
That alleges that Kash Patel had his FBI agents query FBI databases to go after a New York Times reporter who wrote an unflattering story about how Patel was using taxpayers' money to fly his girlfriend around on private jets. So we can't trust Kash Patel, and if the administration removed Kash Patel, it would make FISA reauthorization, I believe, a much easier thing to do.
Oh, that's a nice strategy there, Ted Lieu. Well done, sir. I want to show you guys a couple of things. Let me see what's this in here. This is, where is this? This is all going to be in one of the key stories that happened today. If you don't mind me doing a moment of real news, among you know, where is it? Ding, there we go. Yeah, it's this guy. Okay, here you go. For those of you that don't know, the UAE has officially dropped out of OPEC. If I had any more oil, I'd have to join that OPEC. Mel Tillis in the Cannonball Run movies, awesome. Anyways, so just so you know, that's kind of, what's the phrase I'm looking for? Effing enormous. There, I'm using nicer words. Just for the record, the UAE up until, well, they're leaving March 1st or May 1st rather. In the next couple of days, they're going to go from the third largest producer of oil in OPEC to no longer in OPEC. They are so a huge amount of oil produced by OPEC is going away. It is just good, and that's because OPEC has been asking them to hold back their output to artificially inflate the price because they were all in this kind of cartel. And one of the big members is Iran. They see the gray area where it says other? Okay, a big chunk of this gray part is Iran. And as much as these guys were acting like they hated each other's guts over time, they didn't have a problem getting together and price fixing resources. Okay? And again, there's a real easy way we could skip all this horseshit if we just got to renewables and left oil behind as quickly as possible. I'm just saying. So, anyways, they are 10% of OPEC overall. That is an enormous drop in the controlled output of OPEC. So the fact that they're leaving is an enormous deal. And they're going from, I think, somewhere in the order of like 4.2 million barrels a day to over 5 million barrels a day to 5.5 or something like that, because they were intentionally, with their agreement with the other members of OPEC, everybody was lowering their output to keep prices artificially high. I have said for a long time that there is a glut, and it's already here. The only weapon the Saudis especially, and the United States oil producers and others have to fight the fact that there's too much production, which there is to eliminate one of the sources of production, namely the Iranian wells and a little bit of like Russia's stuff, which Ukraine is taking care of. They're blowing up the fields. But if you take out Iran's oil by literally letting the specifically the pumps that they have atrophy, rot, blow up, or dry up, it will keep this price artificially high where they like it. Okay, it'll lower the output. In theory, it already has. It's lowered it about to here, but it will lower it even further, and so the demand will be higher than supply, or at least in the area with it. But right now, demand before the existence of the Iran war, the demand was actually lower than supply, and it was creeping lower over time. Okay, and so one of the ways these guys are manipulating the market is, they used to just tell everybody, hey, cut your output by 5%, 10%, 100,000 barrels, whatever it was. Everybody, we're all doing it at once so we can keep the price high. Otherwise, we're screwed because people are using less oil. Okay. The problem is if your output is very high, you can do that. If you're Saudi Arabia, which is purple, you can lower it a little bit and you're still selling enough where even if it's at a lower price, because the market isn't carrying it, your output is high enough where you can survive on it. If you're the other countries and you're only putting out this much, every drop matters. If they cut by 5% or 10%, they're still producing this much. If you do, that's a tremendous drop. It matters more, okay? It's like when you go to the bank and, if they take a fee to get money out, if you take $1,000 out of the bank and they charge you a 10% fee, you lose $100. And it's not that big a deal. You still have $900. But if you have $100, there's a bigger difference between $100 and $90 in terms of your spending power than $1,000 and $900. Get my point? So that's the problem. The Saudis didn't have a problem doing this. And to some degree, Iraq didn't as well because we helped them. But also, like, these guys, UAE and everybody below them was really getting hurt by this. Except for, by the way, Iran, which is about this much of the gray area up here. A couple other countries like Qatar and others dropped out of this a couple years ago, just so you know. But anyways, this is gigantic because by volume, they're the biggest group to leave. And this is a signal of the end of oil. These guys are all going to just sell what they got as quickly as possible and shift as fast as they can, especially the UAE, towards a FinSec background. They want economic background. They want to be the new Cayman Islands, New York, like Manhattan / Bank of Cyprus. Right? So just for the record. Okay. So meanwhile, what's the impact on the cost of oil? It was trending downward. The only thing that affected it after the collapse during COVID was supply shock and the lack of availability and the lack of funds because there was a bit of a recession caused by COVID in the 2 years afterwards. So the price went up, right? The price like during 21, 22, and then it started to go back down again because there's too much oil. So how do you fix that? You blow up one of the sources and then you artificially lower supply to match the increasingly diminished demand. Okay, back to here. So tracking key market moves on the Iran war. This is the change since the start of the war. Daily Hormuz ship transits is down by 101 ships a day. Daily Hormuz ship transit. Like every day, there used to be 101 more ships going through there than there are now. Brent oil futures are up 53%. Gas prices are up 36%. European benchmark gas is 39%, which, by the way, considering the idea that we don't get any from the Strait of Hormuz, right? We don't need that oil, that storyline you keep hearing. It only amounts to about a 2 and change percentage difference between our gas prices and Europe's. Global stocks are up 1.2 because people are running away from resources. Bloomberg dollar is up 0.9, and the 10-year is up 0.4 because they're considered safe. That's it. So let me see if there's the other one. Is this the other one? There you go. No, that's the. This was this one I had to save from the other day. Oh, and then there's this. Yeah. So Trump's disapproval ratings are friggin' extraordinary right now. Is this? Hold on. Let me do this. Oh yeah, there's a Caroline Levitt, White House Levitt on X. Just this stuck out to me because I was looking at some stuff the other day. So I was like, can't you look up where these things are located? Account based in Korea, started in 2018. Interesting. So, okay, this is Trump's close to latest statement on Iran. Iran has just informed us that they are in a state of collapse. Yes, no one in fucking Iran called and said we're in a state of collapse. I swear to God, he's picking up the phone and hearing things, and when people pick up the phone away from him, it's going. Okay, they want us to open the Hormuz Strait, in quotes. I don't know why that's in quotes, because it's an actual thing that you actually do, as soon as possible, as they try to figure out their leadership situation, which I believe they will be able to do. Based on what? Thank you for your attention to this matter, Donald Trump. Okay, my attention means nothing in this circumstance. I have no control over the Iranians or my own government right now, so you're just blathering into the wind. Also, there was this point that there was a Daily Mail article, I think, revealed how the Mail traced Trump's family tree and found out that he's the king's cousin. This is the story in there, and he goes, wow, that's nice. I always wanted to live in Buckingham Palace. I'll talk to the king and queen about this in a few minutes. Donald J. Trump. Hardy, har, har, har. Real quick. One moment, please. Let's see. Yeah. So Barack Obama is has ties to the medieval kings of England and Scotland. Professional and amateur genealogists have traced Obama's maternal line back to European ancestors who themselves descended directly from medieval royalty in Britain and Scotland. One documented line makes him a descendant of William the Lion, King of Scotland, who died in 1214 by an early colonial ancestor, Edward Fitzrandolph. Genealogy charts also show Barack Obama has as a many times great grandson of English kings such as Henry II and Henry II and Henry III. For example, one chart lists Henry II as his 26th great-grandfather and Henry III as his 24th great-grandfather. So there was a big thing in, I think it was that video of Candace Owens where she was talking about, the mystery behind whatever the fuck, the Project Looking Glass thing. As we cut off before we got to the end of it because it was just too long and boring. But they go into how the fact that 13 presidents are directly related to the royal family in England, including Obama and Trump. And I know what you're thinking. They were related to the kings of England. Oh, la-di-da. That was my response as well. Because, I thought we fought a revolutionary war, so we didn't have to give a shit about royals. And I don't believe in magic families. I think all families are magic. It's just me. So that, let's see if we have, hold on, I want to see this. Whoops, get out of here. Let's see if I can, yeah. There's just so much awful. Why is, oh, that's weird. That is a ton of stuff. Hold on. I've got to go in my almost near the end. Son of a bitch, I'm at the end. There's always so much more to talk about. Son of a dog doodle. But in the world of Candace Owens, let's see if I'll just type in this into here. We looked at, if I'm not mistaken, the Art of the Steal, they never deep fake that you make in the safe space and whatever. It's so fucking cuckoo. That's too long ago. Is this the Art of the, maybe she renamed this thing? Epstein, the sun never sets on Epstein Empire. What the fuck? She might have taken it down. That's weird. Hold on, I have an idea.
Why?
What? Why? What? The what now? This is blocked out on here. Nope. Okay, I will have to find it for later. It seems, but there was there's a specific part of where Candace Owens is saying that there's this behind the scenes. Oh yeah, here it is. I found it. Son of a bitch.
The
Okay.
CIA.
So remember this? We were talking about this guy where they were going through the CIA, and I showed my Hemisync device and all that stuff, and it's just whatever. But devil and science is the devil and whatever the fuck. And then it's all the Matrix and yada yada yada. And then let's see, they get into I don't like their eyeballs, and then she goes into this people, and then. Or maybe we did get through the whole fucking thing. Anyways, she goes through this whole thing about how they're all related to all the American presidents are related to, demonically related to the royal family, including, maybe there was a different one. God damn, they all blend together because she's always wearing the same fucking blouse. Anyways, the point I'm trying to make is that she presented this idea that, that Trump is not only is he not an outsider and not special and not this magic, maggot hero that's going to save the republic from, I don't know, the deep state or any of that shit. Not only is that the case, but he's also a descendant of the royal line, like the rest of the Illuminati. And look, considering how inbred the royal family is, I find that pretty easy to believe. That said, I don't know why we would be concerned about, somebody who's even multiple generations separated from there, from the royal family, because so were the founding fathers in the same way. But I'll tell you what, I'm going to leave you with this. I'm going to get out of here because I'm going to go have dinner with the fam. But real quick, remember JP, Sears, remember that guy? Who was like all up Trump's butthole and finding a warm place to live in there for years. And now something changed. Something, I don't know what, any number of things. Like, I'm amazed that individually a bunch of these things didn't make these guys wake up, but whatever it takes. It's not like I have to bother with welcoming them back into the fold or some shit like that. It's none of my business if they want to be big stupids. But here, let me show you. He's on another talk show. I'm just going to show you a little piece of this, but it's particularly sweet. Here we go. This is the beginning of it. This is him talking about Trump.
Man, I think the guy is gone. There's no question he has changed. Like all of us who voted for him, we didn't change. We hold the same principles, values, and ideals in mind. It's just the person who we thought was aligned with that, they changed the direction. So there's no question.
Yeah, it couldn't possibly be that you fuckers are dupes. Because I gotta tell you, I'm this to JP Sears and all these other people who are like, This totally caught me off guard. I had no idea. You owe people on my side of the aisle who've been mentioning this shit for years, that he's a liar and a grifter and a fraud, and he has no ethics and no morals. He doesn't believe a fucking word of anything he says about religion or God, any of that stuff. He doesn't go to church, and yet you think he's the most pious person in the world. It ain't about him at a certain point. We told you, assholes. We warned you. Apologize. If you truly have the ethics and the morals and the Christian beliefs that you have, then part of atonement is apologizing to those who you mischaracterized as democrats for warning you that a 27 times adjudicated rapist and a 36 times convicted fraudster who never wrote the book The Art of the Deal, swapped wives, basically traded up for a younger model on a regular schedule and buried his children's mother on a golf course with no fucking headstone and said, we're going to get out of Afghanistan beautifully, just later. But we are going to keep Bagram, which means stay there forever. Get the fuck out of here. It ain't him. At a certain point, the only growth you're going to experience is if you realize you're the dumbass. You're the dupe. None of the rest of us fell for that shit. Sorry. Doesn't work that way. So until you start saying, some of the people that were like talking about what a piece of shit he was, I spent years online, hating on those people, mocking them, calling them all kinds of names, calling them Satanists and demons and pedos and all that kind of shit. And at the same time, backed a dude who hisses like a fucking snake anytime he has to read a Bible verse, which sounds like a demon having holy water chucked on him. Again, wouldn't be able to quote Jesus wept without fucking cue cards, a teleprompter, and an earpiece. But somehow you're like, I don't know, I think he loves Jesus. Again, at a certain point, it ain't him. It's you, dumbass. And it won't matter how you've turned on him until you apologize to the people that you mischaracterized, misread, lied about on the other side of the aisle. You don't even have to agree with us on policy. That's not the fucking point. You really don't. We can still disagree on policy. That's what a democracy is all about. That's why I'm a Democrat, because I like democracy. I like everyone to have their vote and their say, even if I don't like them. But if you want to start moralizing about how much you're so much better than Donald Trump is, in the standard that you have, he's just not living up to it. It won't matter until you go back over all the people that were going, hey, asshole, he's a rapist. Jeffrey Epstein was his best friend for 27 fucking years. He died in jail after Trump had him arrested and poof, just swept away, done. There's no body. He's gone. Right? And then he sends the next term he has, like clockwork. He sends out, imagine if there was no COVID and he'd just been reelected to 2 terms consecutively. And Trump, Epstein dies in 2019. And the very next year, Pam Bondi or whoever, Bill Barr at the time, puts out a memo that just says, yeah, that's the end of the Epstein stuff. We're done. You owe Hunter Biden an apology. You owe Joe Biden an apology. You owe Kamala Harris an apology. You owe all the Democrats who impeached Trump and brought evidence and put together the Jan 6 trials an apology. And if you believe any of the ethics that you're decrying Trump for not living up to at all, you would. Now, I'm also not a sucker, so I don't expect this. I don't expect any of these assholes to come clean on this. They'll shit all over Trump and distance themselves and talk about how he changed before they will ever, yes, Hillary Clinton as well, before they will ever admit that they vilified people who are simply trying to warn them to pick somebody else. If you really have those beliefs, if you really care about conservative ideals and the budget and the sanctity of life, you would never, ever support someone like Donald Trump. So I'm not going to believe you actually do give a shit about those things until you actively apologize to the people who were warning you exactly who he was and exactly who he turned out to be. And until that time, you carry the burden of this, not us. See you tomorrow, everybody. Take care of yourselves and take care of somebody else.
Can see soft enough so you lean on me. Whatever you want is whatever you take. Call it weakness, call it fake.